먹어. Bonjour tout le monde, I'm Diane. This is a McDonald's in France. This is a McBaguette. And today we're gonna taste the McBaguette, a very French offering at the French McDonald's. It comes in beef and chicken. We're gonna get one of each. And of course, in France, masks are still required everywhere indoors. So obviously while I'm eating, you're allowed to take it off, but I will have to mask up to head in and order and all of that. And I believe I'll have to show my pass sanitaire, my health pass, on my phone as well to eat in the restaurant, just proof that I've been vaccinated. So we're gonna head in. Okay, so you'll have to let me know if it's like this in the US these days, but even before COVID, in France, you have the option to order at the touchscreen, and they look like giant TVs, and you go over and the full menu is on screen. You could either pay by card or over at the counter in cash, and then you select if you want to order for here or to go, so that's what I'm doing here, getting one baguette sandwich, the McBaguette in chicken and beef. And on my way in, they gave me number 123, a little sign for the table, because once I order, an employee actually brings me my tray to the table. Okay, so for this part, I'm going to do voiceover while I'm editing here because I realized that some of the background music had popular hit songs, and that's going to get my video taken down. So basically here we have the two packages of the McBaguette, beef and chicken. I'm going to take my mask off, get a little more comfortable, and then go ahead and start with the chicken. So I'm taking it out of the bag here, and I notice it's falling apart. The chicken patties are kind of off to the side, so I'm just rearranging it here, getting it back into tip-top shape so I can show it to you. Do note there are two separate chicken tender pieces and then two pieces of cheese, which are actually cold. They're not melted, and then the bread is baguette style, but this is something that they heat up in the store. Of course, McDonald's is not in the bakery business. So we're looking at two pieces of crispy kind of fried chicken, lettuce, Dijon mustard, kind of like the brand Mai, and then those two pieces of cheese. Then I show you the beef. There's two very thin hamburger patties, not much going on. Same cold pieces of cheese and a little bit of lettuce and that honey Dijon mustard. So I'm starting with the chicken. I'm going to go ahead and bite into it. But upon biting in, I realize that I'm just getting a lot of bread and not much chicken. So I break it in half, and I decide that's the better way to go about it so I can actually get a bit of a taste. But right off the bat, I notice it's a bit of a mess. I drop it like all over myself, so that's always good. But yeah, here we go. So taste it up, break it open, get a little piece of the chicken. The bread is really crunchy, a little hard to chew, but decent bread, you know. A little different than what McDonald's normally offers. So once I clean myself up there, I'm going to tell you that the chicken is surprisingly moist. It's actually quite good. You know, it's not dried out or bland. It has a nice flavor to it, surprisingly, and I think that's what saves the sandwich. My biggest critique is that the cheese isn't melted, and I think that would just help tie everything together. But the chicken was the highlight for me. The cheese, not so much. Maybe some tomatoes would have helped it out a little bit. I don't know. I mean, it was fine. It was okay. The chicken was definitely the highlight. This is probably not my top choice for McDonald's if I had to pick something, but the sandwich wasn't bad at all. I felt like the McBaguette had a little too much bread overall, so I just took out one of the little chicken tenders there, had a few more bites, and then it was on to the beef McBaguette. That's boeuf en français, and the chicken, of course, is poulet. So here, take it in, take a look. We have two beef patties with lettuce, and I'm going to do the same technique, rip it open so I don't have to eat 4 bites of plain bread before getting to the beef. There I go, biting in again, spilling it all over myself as usual. And how is it? I'm kind of surprised by how lackluster it was. This beef McBaguette was really nothing to write home about. It was bland, The beef was really thin. It was completely overpowered by the huge pieces of bread, and that is not something I would order again, and it's not something I would recommend. If you're going to try the McBaguette, 100% go for the chicken. I would give the chicken 6 out of 10 on a good day, maybe 6.5 if they would melt the cheese. But the beef would rank maybe a 3 or a 4. I'd eat it if I was really hungry, but just was not worth it at all. So go for the chicken, 100% better. Okay, so my final thoughts. I think it's great that McDonald's has local offerings for a local palate, but if you want a sandwich made with the baguette, this one is not the one you want to spend your money on. This is an industrial produced piece of bread that's just warmed up in the store and baked. If you want a real baguette sandwich that is worth the time and the money, go to a local bakery and get ham and cheese or chicken or whatever it is with egg and fresh vegetables. And that's going to be a baguette made in the store that's going to be 100 times better than the McBaguette. No shade to McDonald's. I think they're trying to do a good thing. And if you're in the mood for a sandwich like this, sure, get it. But it's just mediocre at best. Okay, I'm going to do a voiceover for this part because unfortunately a Whitney Houston song was playing over the sound system in the McDonald's, which will get this video taken down. So first, I was just saying that McDonald's is super popular with the French, and that might be surprising because we think of France as the #1 country for gastronomy and high food culture and such an amazing attention to beautiful detail with food and everything that has to do with food culture. And that's true, but it exists also along a fast food culture, and the French do love their McDonald's. Just an example, where I live in a small town, I can go to 3 McDonald's within an easy driving distance, and any given night, especially Friday and Saturday, at dinner time, the drive-through line will have 10 or 20 cars for hours. McDonald's in France is affectionately nicknamed McDo, and the McBaguette is available in France, not the US. Of course, the menu here is Frenchified to appeal to a French audience. And in case you're curious, France is the second biggest consumer of McDonald's outside the US in terms of retail locations. I believe as of 2020, they had 1,485 McDonald's. Now, if you're wondering, why is McDonald's popular with the French? I think there are a few reasons, one of which it's convenient. A lot of French society is closed on Sundays or closes early. McDonald's is open. 2, they have Wi-Fi everywhere, which makes it a nice place to come grab a cup of coffee from the McCafe, which is also a nice option where they have pastries and different things, kind of like a McDonald's bakery, so to speak. So yes, the French do love going to McDonald's. And speaking of sandwiches, as I was editing, Tom informed me about another type of sandwich with a funny name. It's actually called a sandwich américain. And what it is, Tom?
Well, it's like basically a sandwich made of it resembles like what you got like McDonald's. It's a sandwich made of a baguette. And inside you get like beef patties, like burgers, kind of like in the one of McDonald's. Usually you would get like a little bit of lettuce and maybe a tomato or something with like mayonnaise. And they would put actually the fries inside that sandwich. And that sandwich is called an Américain. It's pretty popular. It used to be more popular, I guess, among younger people like a few years ago. But if you said Américain, like everybody knows what it is, like as a sandwich.
So did you catch that? Tom said a sandwich, kind of like the one at McDonald's, but with French fries inside, is actually called un sandwich américain. All right, that's it. All right, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed that little taste test with the chicken and beef McBaguette, let me know down below if it's something you would try, if it's something you've already tried. And yeah, I'll see you right back here on We in France soon. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button, gave this video a thumbs up, and yeah, salut!